Good morning. This is Anam from Eden Plumbing, and today we're going to talk about water distribution for a basement when you have a duplex apartment, and this is mostly required by the city in Brampton and in some other cities as well. But we have a job today, so actually tomorrow to work on it, and we're going to discuss what the process is and how to design the system. So we basically have a couple of sketches here. We're going to go with the first one. This is a schematic sketch. So it's basically telling you how to do the job. And then I'm going to discuss a couple of other drawings, how we're going to design the system. And I'm going to show you an example of a job we have done, and we're going to go from there. So in the starting, you have the concept is I'm going to explain to you. They want you to differentiate and separate the basement plumbing to the upstairs plumbing. So in a house, you might have two zones or you might have three zones. Um, for the first zone, let's give so it'll be zone number one. Let's call it the basement plumbing. So all the fixtures in the basement, such as toilets, sinks, uh, kitchen, dishwasher, whatever it is in the basement, has to go through the basement plumbing downstream of this. So let's say you have a valve here, you have a valve here, and you have a valve here and here, and for the water heater. So basically, you'll have five valves. Like example, I'll show you. You have one. So don't the blue and the red are a little bit interchanged, but don't worry about it. Follow this line. The line tells you if it's a cold line or a hot line. Okay. So you have one. One second. Let me just change this. It's supposed to be hot here. This one. Okay. So so what you need to do is you have a common line coming from the water meter. And so right now this is common. So it means this water is getting shared by every single zone. Once I come here and put a shutter valve here, then this becomes the basement plumbing zone. This becomes the upstairs zone. This is the cold side of the water heater. If I take the cold side for the water heater from here, and then if I shut it off, now there will be no water coming here. So the cold water valve has to come from the common line or the main line. Then you have your sprinkler line that also has to come from the main line, or it can actually come from the cold side of the water heater as well. I'm going to show you what that means and I'm going to show you in that diagram, but just bear with me for now. And then you have this common area. The common areas are fixtures. Common fixtures are ones that are shared by the tenants upstairs and in the basement. For example, washing machine, hose bibs, irrigation system. These are the couple of examples of the fixtures that are usually taken from the common area. Sometimes in a basement, it's too complicated. You would do it the other way, but you will connect it to the upstairs plumbing. But if the basement is unfinished and you have an opportunity to do that, this is what they will ask you to do. Now, in Brampton, now they're asking us for a 1 inch line. You will take a 1 inch line. If you don't have it, you will then bring it for 1 inch line from the water meter to the furnace room. How I have done it over here. So the light mark is a 3/4 inch line, and it is coming from the water meter into the furnace room. This is a type of an example where the water meter is not located in the furnace room. Then it's much easier to do everything here. But if it's not, and if the water meter is in the front of the house, and you have your water heater over here, let me just check. Yeah, you have your water heater over here, then you will need to install this plumbing here. So what I'm going to show you is you have your 3/4 inch line, and these are the branches going to your fixtures upstairs. This could be a kitchen sink upstairs, this could be a sink, washroom sink, or this could be a plumbing for the second floor. So all this stuff is connected now, and now in order to do that, what am I gonna I'm gonna start capping this off. No, that's gonna be too much work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop a line from here, put it up in the furnace room. I will then find this line in coming to the furnace room. So now I will cap it off here, right? I'll cap it off here. I will connect this water meter to here. So for now, from before the water was going like this, you can see the arrow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cap it off here, connect this to here. So now the water starts coming in here. And then I will connect my upstairs plumbing valve to here. So now instead of the water coming from here and then going into here, it's actually going to start, it's going to come from this 1 inch line. When it gets separated, for example, like this, upstairs, and then from here I'll connect it back to this line, okay? We're going to go back here so we don't get confused. So long story short, the plan is to bring the water line up here. So existing the water line was coming here. We're going to cap it off here. We're going to shoot the water coming from here, and then it's going to go back in there. How it's going to go back in there, I'm going to show you. So when it goes back in there, it's going to start pressurizing this line, and this line, and even this line. So you don't have to do no work here. This is one of the most fastest, efficient way of separating upstairs plumbing to downstairs. But this is just a step one. Now we're going to talk about, we're going to go back here. We're gonna explain this a little bit more further in terms of the hot side, and then we're going to go in here. Now this water that's coming here, this is a tempered water, which means it's downstream of the water heater. Tempered water means it's going to be, 1 second, let me open up that document. So this is an example of a tempered water. This is the elevation drawing. Let's just focus on this area, the red light. So you have this hot water, which is 140 Fahrenheit. It goes into this mixing valve. This is going to be 3/4. This is going to be 3/4. This is your water heater valve. So one of the shutter valves. So basically the cold line comes in here, feeds the water heater, makes the water hot, then comes back in here. Then it feeds back into this mixing valve. From here you have a branch in the cold line. The hot and cold line will get mixed, and you will get a tempered water, which is less hot water, which is set up at 120 or less. This is to provide scaling on your skin and burning. So this is what's called the tempered water. So the drawing that I'm going to show you is going to be downstream from this connection here, which is going to be here. So you'll have 5 shadow valves in total, and it's going to look something like this. So you have your 1 shadow valve, 2nd shadow valve, 3rd shadow valve. This is for your water heater. You can see how, again, that's your mixing valve, right? That's your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5th shadow valve right here, right? So you can see pretty much you have all the shadow valves here. Now we're going to go back to our screen. So after the tempered water comes in, it's going to go into the basement plumbing and the upstairs plumbing. Okay. Now, so I've explained you everything here. Common line, one connection for the basement, one connection for upstairs, one connection for the water heater. Sprinkler system has to come through for the sprinkler system. It it can come from here, but there is a process. If I connect it like this and I leave it here and cap it off here, now this water gets stagnant because there's no activity going on downstream of it. So this water will be all dirty. So this is really long. It's not going to be accepted because when the sprinkler does activate, all the dirty water is going to come and hit somebody. So the inspectors don't like it. They want you to install this connection somewhere where it is very easy. The water never gets stagnant. It should be connected to a running line. So what's a running line? Let's talk about it. If I connect it to this upstairs plumbing, it's a running line until somebody shuts off the water. And if they shut off the water, let's say you have a leak upstairs and you have a fire down, now the sprinkler system is not going to get activated because there is no water. You have a big problem, right? If I do connect it to the basement plumbing, again, same thing. If I shut off the water, I cannot connect the sprinkler. There will be no pressure in the sprinkler system. So what we have to do, we have to do it in a way I'm going to show you now. Now this was step one, which for this specific job that we are talking about, this part is already done. What the technician has to do, has to confirm this connection here, cap off this connection from here. I mean, first he has to do all this work here, but this is the last step. but you have to think about it in the first. Why the last time? Because you don't want to do this connection first and then leave the homeowner with no water for a long time. So we'll do all our plumbing work first and do our final connections, then we shut off the system. That's how we do it. So instead of shutting off the water for 7 or 8 hours, we just shut it off for 2 hours or 1 hour. So, so right now, this is how it's there on the site. What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about if I have to how to design the system. Now, this is the top view of the job. You have your water heater, let's say it's here. Our client wants a sprinkler line here, or the inspector wants it over here and one here because usually clients don't have a clue about this. So if you have two sprinklers here, the proper way to do this job is you have your 1 inch line coming in here. You have two ways to design it. I don't like this way, but I'm going to show you both the ways, okay? One way of to design it, you bring your, let's say I could bring it like this, nice and pretty, but this is here. So what I have to do is I have to purposely bring it out here like this, right on top of it, where they want it here. I can put the brackets here on the furnace, on the ceiling upstairs, drop the line down, straight down from that pressurized line. Why I'm taking the line from this main line? Because if I use the upstairs plumbing, downstairs plumbing, water heater, whatever, there will always it will be running water here. That's why we're gonna use this design. So the sprinkler line comes in here. I purposely make it inefficient and make a long run so that I could accommodate the sprinkler line. So I go from here, 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 feed the second sprinkler line, it's one and two, but whatever, feed the second sprinkler. Then now I can distribute it. I can put a 1/3/4 T. So it goes here to the hot water, put a valve here, 1/3/4 by 3/4, put another 3/4 going here, put a valve here, and then the last 3/4 goes here for the downstairs pump. Okay. Now this is one way to do this job. Now what I usually like to do, and it's much easier, it's something like this. Now I'm gonna have a 1 inch line here, but I would like to move around my water heater valve, water heater line. So I have to feed a water heater like how I feed it up, how I feed it up here, right? This is how it's going downstream. It's going to the water heater, and then it goes to here. So and I have to take a 1 inch line. What if I don't want to buy a lot of 1 inch line, and then I have to buy its fittings, it's more expensive? What I can do to save the cost and make it much easier, because it's much easier to work with a 3/4 inch line, is I can reduce the 3/4 inch line right here. So I could have 1/3/4 by 1 here, then 1/3/4 by 3/4 here, and then I can start with this water heater line first, and then I can go like this, feed the first sprinkler, feed the second sprinkler, and then go into the water heater. Now, if there's an issue with the water heater, I will be working in the furnace room on top of the water heater, right? And then the valve is right here. So which means that this line will always remain pressurized, correct? So that's one. Another thing what you can do is you can always take the sprinkler lines from even these lines as long as it is upstream of the water heater. It's never downstream of the heater. But preferably they like the water heater because even if I shut, let's say if I shut off this valve and I use it, now this water becomes stagnant, right? So I mean, they're not that picky, but if you want to have a perfect design, you have to go with something like this. So if I go with the sprinkler, if I go with this design, now I have the sprinkler 1, 2, and it feeds the water heater. That's beautiful. I then take this one and connect to the downstairs plumbing, take this and connect to the upstairs plumbing. And this is how we make a very good system. Now I'm going to show you something over here. This is an elevation drawing, right? Here I could have made it a little bit more. Let me make it more. Let me talk about this, and then I'll make a new drawing, update this one, and give you a little bit more feedback on it. So again, I have this 1 inch line. This line is the elevation line of this one right here. Okay, so this is the elevation line of this. So sprinkler 1, sprinkler 2. Again, this is 1 inch. This is 3/4. Doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. It's 3/4. Then it comes down. You have your valve. You have your temperature relief valve. It goes in here. Now, if you put the valve here in this area, what's going to happen is, yes, the hot line, the cold line is closed, but the water will still come into the hot side from here. So that's why it's very important that the water heater valve is always upstream of this T. And so it comes in like this, goes up, connects back, and then this one Now we're going to talk about this. So give me 1 second. So here I have updated this. So the tempered water will come from here. You will have one shutter valve here, one shutter valve here. For the basement plumbing, upstairs plumbing, third shutter valve here, fourth shutter valve here, fifth shutter valve. So basically that's the concept, right? You, in a long simple example, it's very simple. If you have a 1 inch line or a 3/4 inch line, let's consider this a common or main line, common water. Uh, these two have to be coming from here, right? And then all the upstairs can go from here. So for example, if I were to what's going to happen downstream here? If I were to connect this, so this is what I will do. I will take from this here, from this shutter valve here, I will then take it to and connect it back to this line. So that way, from here, it goes into, it says upstairs valve, then connects here, and now the pressure goes back in here, connects here, here, all the here, and here it's capped. So that's basically the concept, okay? I'm going to go back to the picture that Derek, one of the techs, have done that, and this is how it looks like. Okay, you have cold line coming here, gets one connection goes to downstairs, one connection goes to upstairs cold, and then from here, I see it's coming from here. Actually, you can see that it's coming from here. And then you can do the connection. You have your cold line coming from the top. I think this one goes up straight, then goes on top, comes back down. This is your cold line, the valve for the water heater. Then now this is the hot line. Again, this is a hot line connection, which is marked blue, but it's hot. It goes back up in here. And this one goes up, and this is for your basement, and this is for your upstairs. This is where I end the video. Thank you.